adventure. Sports Outdoors. With host Harry Canterbury.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before. The spirit of the woods.
Hi, this is Harry Canterbury for another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. And today we have a three-part show that covers a wide variety of topics. Our first segment concerns a gun rally that took place in Springfield, Illinois in March of this year. People from all over the state gathered in Springfield to show support for the passing of concealed gun legislation. Illinois is one of two states that has yet to pass this legislation. And the Illinois State Rifle Association organized this mass demonstration to show the congressmen of this state just how dedicated they were to seeing this passed. The next segment is another mushroom segment where my good friend Rick Gebhardt and I went out to my farm to look for those tasty, delectable morel mushrooms. This was an off year for mushrooms, just terrible, but it's still fun to get out there and go. And finally, we go for a fantastic turkey hunt with my good friend and buddy, Dave Herschelman. Dave is a superb hunter of turkeys with over 50 turkeys in his turkey hunting career. And you can learn a lot about this from guys that have been doing it for so long. And then, as we often do, H.B. Logston, our editor and videographer, has put together another highlight section, this one on springtime in Illinois. What a beautiful state we live in, and we can't forget that. So kick back, put your feet up, and join us for a great show.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Wildlife Prairie State Park, Peoria, Illinois, a 2,000-acre park with over 150 animals. The Embassy Suites Hotel, located on the Illinois side of downtown Peoria.
Watkins Marine, Pekin, Illinois, home of Mercury Outboards. Gallagher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open at 11 a.m. daily.
And Tremont Oil Company for all types of vehicle maintenance in Tremont, Illinois. Our thanks to these sponsors.
We're out up against the road. Number 2. Nice to see you.
Yes, sir, we got you.
I want to thank you for right here to here. Women, reenactors on both.
This year, 6,100 people showed up at the iGold to march in support of firearm owners' rights. This was the largest iGold ever, and it certainly proved to legislators that the citizens of Illinois value the Second Amendment. For years, the news media, in conjunction with anti-gun groups, have tried to make gun owners feel isolated and that no one actually believed in the right to keep and bear arms. iGold dispels those ideas. Only those who have been there can tell you the feeling of camaraderie that permeates the crowd. For years, pro-gun legislators were told that only a few of their legislative districts supported pro-gun agendas. The city of Chicago was, and still is, trying to cram Chicago-style gun control down the throat of every owner in Illinois. 5 of the 6 plaintiffs in the McDonald versus Chicago all met for the first time at Lobby Day for the runner of iGold. If the Supreme Court of the United States rules in favor of the Second Amendment, will not only apply to the city of Chicago, but to San Francisco, Seattle, as well as every jurisdiction in the United States. That is why iGold is so important.
I like the one that says, rape this. Are we up there? Marching back! We're going to keep our powder dry! We're going to keep our powder dry!
I'm here with the Executive Director of the Illinois State Rifle Association at a special day here in Springfield called iGold. And exactly what does iGold stand for, Richard?
Well, it stands for Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day. You know, for a long time, gun owners in Illinois have been kind of run over. Their rights have been taken away from them. They've been abused by the FOID card, no concealed carry, and so what we're here to do is to let the state legislature, the governor, and anyone else who will listen know that gun owners are people too, and that we have rights and that we're coming.
The question that everybody has, and a lot of people don't know it, but Illinois is one of the only states in the Union that does not have any form of right to carry. Why is that?
Well, because of the laws that were passed right after the Civil War. We of course had resistance to concealed carry legislation or open carry legislation, either one, from the city of Chicago, primarily from Mayor Daley.
What is it going to take for Illinois to get the right to carry concealed carry?
Well, gun owners are going to have to be more organized. They're going to have to come out for rallies like this, and they are, above all, this year they're going to have to vote in November.
So the hopes look good this future election if everybody gets out and votes.
Right. We're going to make a very serious right to carry push this year, and if it doesn't go through, we'll be pushing harder next year. But we really have to get out and vote in this election, and we have to vote the pro-gun ticket, no matter whether a Republican or a Democrat, and we have to elect pro-gun people.
Well, good luck in your endeavors, and I know that you're working really hard, and I've known you for a long time, and your heart's in the right place, and you're going to do everything you can to get this legislation through.
Well, that's right. Years ago, we started out, we had 80 people at our first rally. This year, we expect 8,000.
8,000
So,
people.
and if that doesn't get it done, they'll be back next year with 10 or 12,000.
That's right.
And I want everybody who sees this to plan March 6th, 2011 to be here.
Rich, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Richard Pearson, Executive Director of the Illinois State Rifle Association. I'm privileged to have our president here, Don Moran, who is the president of the association and one of course, our big pro-gun supporters in the state.
Good morning. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very successful event. And what do you anticipate as far as people being here? How many?
Well, last year we had 5,000 people here. Our goal for this year was, realistically, was 8,000 people. We published 10,000 people, but the weather's pretty crummy in the northern part of the state. It's foggy and rainy. If we get 5,000 people here again today, that's still a pretty impressive number of people to march on the Capitol.
With the upcoming elections, do you feel positive that you may get something done?
I think the tide is turning, and I feel it in a lot of different ways, legislatively, politically, juris-wise, as far as the courts go. I think that we're seeing a lot of positive movement on our side of the issue. Well, good luck to you. It looks like a great rally. Thank you.
Thank you.
To see so many people got up early this morning to come down here to visit with their legislators. A lot of you saw the Supreme Court case was heard last week in Washington, D.C. We can't really talk about that issue other than to say that we expect the Supreme Court will take a hard look at the written materials that were submitted and the oral arguments, and we're very hopeful for a...
One of the things that is very interesting about this case is a man who lives in a crime-ridden area. Got tired of it. His name is Otis McDonald of Chicago, Illinois. And he has become a big member and also is the #1 plaintiff in this case against the city of Chicago.
Thank you all for all the applauses. And I guess where I want to start first is Southern Illinois. I'm so grateful and so honored to have stood in the beginning in behalf of you all. Made me realize just how important ordinary people and people of all statuses were and could accomplish with their getting together.
It's a tradition in the Midwest every spring to go out and look for the elusive morel mushroom. Those of you who've had the privilege of eating them will testify as to how great they really are. But finding them can be a real tough challenge, especially if Mother Nature doesn't do what she's supposed to do. Hey, early spring, and it's April, about the 11th, I believe. And Rick is an old mushroomer from way back. Found some yesterday and we had them for breakfast with their eggs, and you're ready to go again, right?
Most definitely. It's going to be a big day today. They're out early this year.
My good friend Rick Gephardt from Dunlap, Illinois, and I went out early in the morning in April to look for a few mushrooms. And we did find some, but we didn't find a lot. Well, yesterday we got a pretty nice mess out of here. You found a few more, huh?
A couple more. Yeah, they're really tough to see. I mean, they're under the leaves. They haven't even popped their heads up through the leaves.
There's one right there.
There's one there. Got lucky and found a couple more, but it's awful early to be finding any. We're surprised we're finding any at all. Just the fact we've had such nice weather early in the spring. Over here we got a big dead elm, and anytime you get lucky enough to find one of those, that's where you want to find your mushrooms. You always want to move out about a 20, maybe even a 30-foot radius all around a dead elm like that, because the mushroom mycelia will migrate quite a ways. They consume the roots of the dying or dead elms, so you want to work an area of big diameter. You'd be surprised how many you'll walk by if you don't. Occasionally we'll find some little ones like that have some mold on them like that. There's really no reason to take these out of the woods. What I do is I just normally will crush them up like that, because all of that is spore, and just drop them on the floor for next year's mushroom crop.
We got one right there.
That's a little one. That looks pretty good, nice and fresh.
And we got another one right over there.
Another one there, yeah. Too bad we can't find about 50 more of those today, but here it is. It's only the 11th of April, really early for this part of the country, out here and somewhere in the woods in Illinois.
Schuyler County. The mushroom spot is always a secret spot.
Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, those are guarded with, people pass those down in their wills, their mushroom spots. So they're very valuable, to say the least.
Yeah, they are. Well, this was burnt out last year, and I think that's why we've got a little, you know, they're here early. And I guess we could just might as well let them grow, huh?
Sure, let's give them a couple more days.
Yeah,
and
maybe there'll be a lot more in here, and
yep,
we'll give her a go again. We'll just let them babies go. Teddy bear's helping, aren't you, Teddy bear?
Oh yeah. Too bad we can't train you to sniff out mushrooms.
Yeah, you know, I never could figure out why they couldn't get a dog. They can get him to track people.
And drugs and everything.
And everything else. But why can't they get out? You know what? There's got to be a mushroom dog somewhere.
I'm sure there is. They got mushroom pigs out in France to get the truffles. So let's get a mushroom dog here and
make millions.
Exactly.
Well, you got a pretty good looking specimen there. Now, if that was left to go, that'll probably grow. You know, could grow as high as 4 or 5 inches.
Yep, it's very compact.
Yeah.
Very flavorful.
Oh yeah, we had them for breakfast with our scrambled eggs, and man, were they good.
Oh, doesn't get any better than that.
Sure doesn't. Well, we got another spot to check, and we're going to have to wait about another week before it really gets going.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll go somewhere else and we'll check it out real quick.
Okay.
Rocky, you ready to go? There's Rocky.
You want to take these two?
Yeah, let's let them grow.
I don't think they're going to grow here.
You don't?
Nope.
You think they're done?
Mushrooms don't grow.
I knew you were thinking that.
They don't grow, but
I got a guy with a time. I got a guy with a time frame.
Uh-huh.
He's got 6 days.
Really?
There.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I'm serious. Now they'll pop. They'll pop. Well, go ahead and pick them. That's right. Cause
yeah, I'd like to see that if they do. They may grow. I mean, that has a possibility.
But
I think it's all we're doing is adding water. Because they don't actually grow. They may expand.
Expand, yeah.
Right, but I don't think they're actually.
Yeah, I think they pop, but I do believe they. Well, I know they get bigger.
Are you going to be down here for the next couple days?
Just because we didn't find many this year doesn't mean that we won't be right back out there again next spring looking for them in the same place.
Well, I'll tell you, they are tough to see under these.
I mean, you got to really just rake them all over.
Yeah, it's the only way to find them in here. They are completely buried.
Point that out to everybody so they can see it on the camera.
There it is.
Yeah, now that one there is actually.
That's a beauty.
It looks full grown because it's starting to change color. It's almost getting old, isn't it?
Yep. Doesn't take more than 24 hours to get them old. I bet this thing has definitely been up less than 24 hours, but she is absolutely beautiful.
I want to tell you what, folks, we didn't have the camera for the hunt because it would have detracted from our the pursuit of this wild turkey. We had a great time today. This is one of the most classic hunts I've ever had, and that wouldn't have happened unless I had my good buddy Dave Herschelman, who's shot about 50 of these in his lifetime. This is my 19th bird, just a nice bird. And I want to tell you what, this was one of the most classic hunts I've ever had. I've shot them in all sorts of circumstances and places, but this was really something. Dave and I worked a place up the road here, up the field about a quarter of a mile, and called and talked to this bird for about 2 hours. But we're going to talk a little bit today about turkey hunting, some of the things you have to have, some of the things you have to do, some of the mistakes you make. I've made them all. You can get a bird if you really work at it, but it's persistence, 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 and you've got to follow the golden rule, and that is be quiet, stay in one place if you can, and if you leave, that's a cardinal sin to leave your position, because the bird, in all chances, will probably come back. We're going to walk up top the hill here and talk a little bit about turkey gear, what you got to have, what you got to shoot, and I have right here in my hand my permit, my landowner's permit. And I've been carrying this around in my pocket for a long time. And immediately upon the kill, which we've just killed this bird just shortly ago, you've got to notch it out. There's a place right here where you have to notch out, and that means that the tag has been filled. So we're going to pull that notch out. It has been notched, tag's filled. We're going to go up to the ATV and put this tag on him. So let's walk up there and we'll talk a little bit about today's hunt and some of the things you have to do in order to be successful to get a eastern turkey. And it says here specifically, tag the bird on his foot. So I'm going to take this tag off right here. And grab his foot, tag him up. Now, we got to call this bird in a little bit, and we'll show you how they do that. And you have to fill out all these little digits right here. They're going to give you a certification number, and we'll give them a call on the cell phone here in a little bit. Our bird's tagged and bagged, and we're ready to go. So we'll get up to the ATV. Let's get him up to the ATV. Grab my ghillie suit and my camouflage Benelli. That's a good 20-pound bird at least, maybe 22. Tell you one thing, I don't want to drag him through the woods. Yeah, man, and that ghillie suit, boy, that hides you. You got to be still. That's a must. That is a big must. We're going to talk to Dave now about some of the calls that he uses. A lot of people overcall. I'm very guilty of it myself, because you think the more calling you do, the more effective the call is going to be. That's not the case. The case is that bird can hear you a long ways off. And in the wild, the hens occasionally will make a lot of noise at one time, and then they're quiet for 15 minutes, and they might make another call. So we're going to talk to Dave, and he's going to show some of the techniques he uses in order to get these birds in. Hey, here's my good buddy Dave Herschelman, guide extreme extraordinaire. Did a great job today calling my bird in and gave me a lot of good pointers on what to do and what not to do. Dave, tell everybody about the hunt today.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of excitement. I'm with Harry. This is, I think, the third time I'm bid with him, and today it all came to place together as it should. Now, this morning we set up in a fence line between two cornfields with big, deep ravines on the east of us, and also on the west of us. And our intention is to pull those birds that are roosted up in those deep ravines back up into the field, and we can call them into us. Well, unfortunately, we worked pretty hard at it. We heard a lot of early gobbling on the roost. In fact, we identified, we think, 3, possibly 4 gobblers this morning as they gobble. So we were pretty excited, you know, to start the morning off. Well, at this point in time, luckily we heard that gobble, we heard that clicking sound. So we knew it was that same old gobbler that we'd encountered twice before. And he's got a habit of not working to us. He's got a habit of moving on down the ridge. So we jumped ahead of him about 300 yards, got into the woods, probably cut the ravine drop about 50%, and then leaned up against a tree and shut up. And that's one of the reasons we didn't bring the camera, for fear that in this wide open woods, a lot of maple trees in here, and the forest flow is pretty clear. If you're monkeying with the camera, there's a good chance you're going to screw something up, and we didn't want to gamble that. So we sit still. Harry's in his ghillie suit, and I'm trying to cover up with, of course, I wear a full face mask. Today I've got the cold version. It was about 41 degrees this morning, and so I had a little one that I wear deer hunting, and I just had some gloves to cover up the white on my hands. So we sit still, the bird gobbles, you know, and then he gobbles closer. So here he comes. You can hear the sound. It's just in slow motion. And for those of you who are turkey hunters, you understand what that's all about. I mean, your heart is pounding. This bird is working into a gun range, and sure enough, then you see that black object in the woods with that big beard hanging down, and boy, oh boy, you know, your fear is there, don't shoot too early. You got to get him in shotgun range. And he works and works and works. And finally he gets to about 50 yards and he stops. There's no NASCAR, there's nothing you can do that equates to the excitement of this. Yeah. And even though I wasn't pulling the trigger, it was fantastic. It was exciting. I mean, it was really exciting. What I call a tree call, and it's a call that just kind of, hey, I'm here, I'm a hen, everything's okay with me. And I'll try to make that call, and forgive me if it sounds horrible. If you can hear that call beyond 40, 50 yards, you're calling too loud. Now, as the morning progresses, it gets plenty of daylight where the turkey feels safe to fly down. Then I like to do what's called a fly down cackle. And that's simply a sound that the bird makes as he flies off the roost, the hen, and glides down and hits the forest floor. And I'll attempt that call now. And I may rustle the leaves or something like that to simulate that bird hitting the ground. And you know, I'm on the ground, Mr. Gobbler, and I'm available. And I may give a few soft yelps, and then I shut up. Then you shut up. I mean, the more you talk there, the more trouble you're going to get. That gobbler, if he's committed, he thinks that's the hot hen, he may glide right into your decoy spread and look for that hen. So at that point in time, you want to shut up and react to what the gobbler's doing next. You know, life doesn't get any better than that. And this is one of the days that makes life worth living, believe me.
Hi, I'm Dave Barth with your shooting tip of the week. Today we're going to talk about shooting safely and keeping your barrels free of obstructions. The first example we have is a Ruger Red Hawk 44 Magnum. A bullet had been lodged in the barrel and a hot round fired after it, causing an explosion of the barrel. Had this piece come off, it would have seriously injured the shooter. Next we have examples of shotgun barrels that had an obstruction in the barrel. The first one is a Mossberg 20 gauge. It had mud in the barrel. The next three are examples of barrels that had snow in the barrel. And the center one here is a Winchester. It had a catastrophic explosion of the muzzle. Next is a Remington barrel, and the explosion was so great it ruptured the choke. The last barrel is a Remington barrel. The choke was stuck in the barrel due to lack of maintenance. Pull that choke a couple times a year and oil it. We have a L.C. Smith, a nice old American-made shotgun. It is a Damascus barrel shotgun and not safe to shoot with modern ammunition. If you're not sure, take your firearm to a local gunsmith, have him check it out, and make sure it's safe to shoot. I'm Dave Barth with your shooting tip of the week.